calls for justice for the killing of a young black man. Disturbing video surfacing of the moments Ahmaud Arbery was gunned down in February. No arrest made more than 2 months later. The sheriff says he can only imagine the family's pain.
If that was my son, I'd be upset.
Now the community is coming together peacefully to make sure his case is not forgotten and that justice is served. And in the last hour, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation announced that it has been tapped to investigate Arbery's death. I'm John Bachman.
I'm Tanika Hughes. This, as the district attorney's office says, it will bring the case to a grand jury. The family's attorney says that this cell phone video leaked online today shows the deadly confrontation. Arbery is in the white shirt, and Gregory McMichael and his son Travis are in the pickup blocking the street. The video shows Arbery tried to run around the truck when he and Travis got into a struggle. McDaniel says his son was violently attacked. We've stopped the video at the moment the shots were fired.
Action News Jack's Russell Colburn recently spoke with the family's attorney. Joins us live now. Russell, he tells you he wants the Department of Justice to review all of this.
Yeah, after all, he says this has already been moved twice due to potential conflicts of interest with the other family involved. And John, tonight we're joining you from the Satilla Shores neighborhood. All quiet right now, but earlier anything but, as there was outrage in these streets. And over here you can see a cross, a memorial for this young man lost more than 2 months ago.
We want justice! We want justice!
Shoulder to shoulder, these demonstrators shared this message: I run with Maud. After all, that's what they say 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery was doing February 23rd before the deadly confrontation with Gregory McMichael, a former Glynn County District Attorney's Office investigator, and his son, Travis. They told police they went after Arbery, thinking he was a suspect in some local break-ins, and that Arbery violently attacked Travis.
I want y'all to see what the truth is about this community. We stand together. Equality. Equality.
Then a remarkable scene Tuesday as demonstrators surrounded Glynn County Sheriff E. Neil Jump. He shared a message saying he wished the community didn't have to wait this long for justice.
If that was my son, I'd be upset. I can only imagine what the mother and dad is going through. We have to go through the justice system. You give me an arrest warrant, and I'll lock up Satan himself if I can find him.
Outrage spread across the country when this video was posted, allegedly showing Arbery's last moments. We showed it to Action News Jack's law and safety expert Dale Carson, who does not believe the McMichaels have a case for citizen's arrest or self-defense.
When you take it upon yourself to chase somebody down who you think committed a crime, you're not really allowed to do that unless you physically have specific information that that very individual committed the crime.
And back out here live, the attorney for Arbery's family says if the DOJ won't take the case, he'll also be pushing for the state to appoint a special prosecutor, since he doesn't believe he'll get a fair shake here, though we did just tell you about the GBI now looking into this. Of course, we'll have everything covered on this for you as it develops. Live in Brunswick, Russell Colburn, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr tweeted out a statement late tonight in regards to the case, saying, in part, quote, based on the video footage and news reports that I have seen, I am deeply concerned with the events surrounding the shooting of Ahmaud Arbery. Action News Jax will continue to look into this case as more develops. Make sure to download the Action News Jax app for breaking news alerts on this case and others.
The next steps to reopen our local community amid the COVID-19 pandemic begin at midnight. Here's what you need to know right now. The state of Florida will mandate that nursing homes transfer residents with COVID-19 if the homes cannot properly care or isolate them. In just a few hours, Governor DeSantis will announce a new mobile testing lab to be used at long-term care facilities. And this week, he'll also announce details on antibody tests coming to state-run drive-through test sites.
Action News Jax has team coverage tonight. We investigate if anyone will be held accountable in the continued troubles with Florida's unemployment system and the local calls to get hair salons reopened statewide.
We begin with restrictions being lifted at Duval County beaches in less than an hour. Action News Jax' Danny Bozzini joins us live. And Danny, you spoke with the local economist who believes that this is another good step towards helping local businesses.
He believes this is a step in the right direction, and the local shop owners I spoke to earlier tonight say they're definitely excited about it.
It's been really nice getting to see everybody again.
Emily Christensen is thrilled to finally be able to open her doors again. Action News Jax was there about a month ago when she was forced to close her doors due to the pandemic. A moment that brought her to tears.
Our business in the month of April, I think, was down 71%, and April and May are like our big months. So it was just, it hurt our heart a little bit, a lot of it.
Donald Wiggins, president of the Heritage Capital Group, says Christensen is one of many who took a big hit having to shut their doors.
And I'm sure some of them, this has been a terrible blow, and they won't open back up, but I think the vast majority of them will.
And despite being able to open again, Christensen says things definitely aren't back to normal just yet.
It's a little awkward. Nobody's really quite sure how to handle the situation.
She's constantly cleaning the areas people touch and even locking the door if there's already a handful of people inside. And Wiggins believes having the beaches fully open again will help bring customers back to places like Jaffe's.
It means they'll lose less money. That's not enough to get them at full capacity, but it certainly does help. It'll put a lot of people back to work.
Christensen says she's grateful for the business, the customers who have continued to support her during this time, and the ones still to come in the very near future.
We're excited to see everyone.
Wiggins believes many businesses will be able to bounce back from this, especially when things fully start to open back up, but it will take a few months or even more than a few months for them to recover. Live from my home in Neptune Beach, Danny Bozzini, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
All right, we want to know, do you think it's too soon to fully reopen Duval County beaches, or is it the right time? Well, yes, 54% of you say it is too soon. No, 46% of you say it is not too soon. And, of course, right down the middle, more or less. Go to actionnewsjax.com/vote to join in this conversation.
Right now, hair salons across Florida are empty as salon owners in Jacksonville call on state and local leaders to let them reopen. Personal services were excluded from phase 1 of reopening Florida. Action News Jax, Christy Turner live outside of a hair salon on the south side. And Christy, you spoke to a stylist who believes that there is a safe way to open salons.
Hair salons like this one behind me were left out of phase 1 of Florida's reopening plan. Salon owners say it's a mistake and they're urging state and local leaders to loosen restrictions. Hair salons and barbershops in Jacksonville are ready to flip the sign on to open.
The battle that I want to fight is to get us reopened.
Patricia Williams rents a studio at this hair salon on Jacksonville's south side. She says she believes personal service businesses should be able to reopen with restrictions.
We will do everything that we can to make sure we follow the guidelines to be safe for ourselves and safe for our clients.
But Evie Panko says she doesn't think it's safe yet to go to the salon.
Any salon, you're going to have physical contact. And that is out of the question now, why we have social distancing, why we wear masks.
Dr. Mobeen Rathor, an infectious disease specialist with Wolfson Children's Hospital, says it's challenging to maintain social distancing when you're getting your hair done.
Certainly, I don't think so. It's absolutely essential to have your barber shop and to have the hair salon open.
Williams says she's already thinking about ways to increase safety.
What I will do when my salon reopens is to make sure that I have masks for my clients.
She says she also plans to check a client's temperature before an appointment and change her scheduling to make sure she has one customer at a time. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis says it's not a matter of if businesses like this one will reopen, but when. Right now, there's no time frame for when phase 2 or phase 3 of Florida's reopening will roll out. Reporting live on the south side, Christy Turner, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News Jax.
The Professional Beauty Association has created a relief fund to help any salon workers who have needs right now. You just have to apply. It's for $500. It's meant to be used on bills and food. The funds are limited, though. For more details, go to actionnewsjax.com. Look under the action button.
Florida will now mandate nursing homes transfer residents with COVID-19 if the facilities cannot properly care or isolate them. Governor Ron DeSantis made the announcement this morning. Local nursing homes have already been notified of the policy. Tomorrow, more details will be announced on a mobile testing lab that will be used at long-term care facilities.
I think the first of its kind mobile testing lab, where we're going to have an RV outfitted with a lab inside, and we're going to be doing the 45-minute rapid test.
The governor also announced an emergency rule requiring all hospitals to test all long-term care residents for COVID-19 before they can be sent back to their care facility.
Major expansion plans at Jacksonville International Airport put on hold because of COVID-19, the pandemic causing a major loss in revenue for the airport. These are the renderings Action News Jax showed you before of Concourse B. It was supposed to have 6 gates and make flights to the West Coast and Europe possible. John did a story about it. The $200 million project was expected to be done by 2022.
It has been a catastrophic. It doesn't begin to describe the impact that it just had on the number of people. Like I said, not just at our airport, but around the world. So there are a lot of people that are a lot of airports that are dealing with this.
The airport expected to get $28 million from the CARES Act, which officials say can cover about 4 months of operations. We were the first to alert you about the suspended project just after 3 o'clock. Download our mobile app to get breaking alerts sent to you.
From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burris. Quiet for the moment, but I'm tracking a pretty strong cold front that drops temperatures dramatically in your First Alert forecast.
Still to come on Action News Jax at 11, investigator Paige Kelton worked through dozens of viewer emails to get answers from the state on Florida's troubled unemployment system. Tonight, she talked to the lieutenant governor on if someone will be held accountable. Plus, how are our local hospitals holding up in the fight against COVID-19? Only on Action News Jax, a local ER doctor tells us their biggest challenge right now. That story on Action News Jax at 11. Right now, Clay County deputies are looking for this missing man. His name is Frank Brown. He's about 40 years old. He was last seen on Wallaby Avenue in Middleburg driving a maroon 1990 Chevy Silverado pickup, possibly with the tag number A22TII. It's there on the screen. If you see him, please call 911.
Tonight, Florida's governor is calling for an investigation into the collapse of the state's website to apply for unemployment benefits. Action News Jax investigator Paige Kelton spent weeks following this story, and today she asked Florida's lieutenant governor if someone will be held accountable.
I sat down with Florida's lieutenant governor today to see what the state is doing to account for the $77 million it spent on the Connect website and to see who will be held accountable for its failure.
I am going to be directing the Inspector General to do an investigation into how the Connect system was paid for, the different amendments to the contract, and go through that whole thing.
After weeks of pressure from Action News Jax viewers and local lawmakers, Florida's failed website Connect is under the microscope.
You had a large corporation make millions of dollars, consulting fees, all sorts of fees that were built in to a procurement process that should have been focused on developing a product, a system that would work.
Deloitte Consulting was paid $40 million to build the website that had issues almost immediately. $15.2 million was spent on project management and support contracts, $4.8 million for operational support, $10 million in expenses. The grand total, $77.9 million.
The governor says he's asking the IG to investigate the website's failure. Do you think ultimately people will be held accountable for its failure?
I sure hope so, because, you know, like I said, the governor is all about accountability and responsibility, and we have taken it on the chin.
Florida leads the country in unemployment applications filed. As of today, more than 1 million Floridians have applied. Fewer than half have received a payment. Our viewers wanted to know what to do if they go back to work but are still getting unemployment benefits. The DEO told me today you need to call 1-833-FL-APPLY and then void and return any check you get past the date you went back to work. In the newsroom, Paige Kelton, CBS 47 Fox 30, Action News Jax.
As Jacksonville starts to reopen, we wanted to check in to see how hospitals are doing throughout the city and the state. Only Action News Jax spoke with Dr. Ashley Norse. She's an emergency department doctor at UF Health who has been dealing with COVID-19 patients.
We are holding up well. This week is National Nurses Week, so big thanks to all the nurses across the entire city for everything that they've done and are doing.
Dr. Ashley Norse works in the emergency department at UF Health. She says in Jacksonville, we are past the worst of the pandemic, but healthcare professionals will reevaluate that as we begin to loosen restrictions. PPE, that was the next question. Do you have enough? You said that you're in a pretty good position now. Do you have enough? Is there anything that you still need?
So that's one of those things that I'm saying cautiously optimistic because the supply chains are opening up. We're seeing supplies coming in. But the thing that you have to balance is we're also opening up clinics again, and we're opening up the ORs to more surgical cases. So we're optimistic because we know that there's going to be an increased usage. So we're still monitoring PPE every day. The N95 masks have been the big challenge.
Dr. Norse is also a wife and a mother to 3 young children.
I have been coming to work, but I do have 3 little ones, 5, 7, and 8.5, and so homeschool has been quite the challenge. And I've always had a great appreciation for teachers and what they do, but I have an even greater appreciation for teachers and what they do.
As we all do, for sure. And a quick shout out to Dr. Norse and all the nurses, as she mentioned, for being on the front lines of this whole thing. I also asked her about being able to go home after work and if she had any concerns about exposing her family. Listen to our entire conversation about that sort of thing. Click on this story on actionnewsjax.com.
Now, Action News Jax First Alert Weather.
So many heroes out there, and today our temperatures, well, we hit 90 degrees. Yet again, officially 91 degrees. That's the 9th 90-degree day so far this year. Folks, we're well on our way to that average of 82. Yeah, we average 82 90-degree days in typical years. We've got ways to go. Now, last year we had 101. Usually by now, we've had 2 90-degree days, so we're way above average. 5-Street First Alert Doppler HD. No rain out there right now, but I am tracking some pretty big changes that are on the way. First, tomorrow morning looks to be quite mild in your hour-by-hour wake-up weather with temperatures that'll be in the 60s by 9 a.m. into the mid-70s. We'll have a fair amount of clouds early on that'll have a tendency to break up a little bit, and then we track the cold front that'll sweep to the south and east after that mild start early in the morning. There's the front coming into view by noon hour into the south-central portions of Georgia. Temperatures warm quickly out ahead of it, and a few scattered showers develop between noon and 3 p.m. right along that front as it's moving through Jacksonville and points south. It's not a lot of rain. You might even manage a rumble of thunder in a few neighborhoods, but rain is really not the story with this system. It'll be moving through quickly, and any showers that develop will not last very long. And then it clears the area to the south and east tomorrow evening and really allows for a temperature drop by early Thursday morning. Temperatures down into the low to mid-50s. You'll once again be able to open up the windows, and this time the cool air sticks around for a while. Temperatures Thursday only managed to get back into the 70s and spend a good part of the day only in the 60s. And then over the weekend, it's cool too, but we also bring in a little bit of rain. There's going to be a front settling southward through the day on Saturday, so we'll see some showers develop across the area. Once again, the rainfall amounts aren't the big deal, but the temperatures will be the story, staying very cool. And Sunday, we're on the northern edge of a storm system moving across South Florida, so a little bit of light rain Sunday, especially in the morning, and very cool temperatures, much of the day in the 60s. The heavier rain will be across South Florida with this system, but we'll be below average for an extended period here from late week right on through the weekend, which is always in view in the First Alert 7-day forecast. The cooler air Thursday and Friday, clouds for your weekend, and a few showers at times, and it stays quite mild right into the early part of next week. A couple of these mornings that'll be down into the upper 40s, like Friday morning will be near record low temperatures. ActionNewsJax.com, it's all the latest First Alert weather, and first thing in the morning, it's certified broadcast meteorologist Garrett Beanbaugh.
15 kids in New York have been hospitalized with symptoms of a rare disease possibly linked to COVID-19. Doctors say 4 of the kids between 2 and 15 have tested positive for coronavirus, and 6 others had antibodies for the virus. Kawasaki disease is a rare childhood illness that causes the walls of blood vessels to become inflamed. It's associated with fevers, rashes, swelling, and vomiting. Children can develop the disease weeks or months after experiencing a viral infection. Let's take a look now county by county for Clay County. Because of high demand for testing, the health department is asking people to make appointments. There are still some appointments available for Thursday's testing at Middleburg's Omega Park and Monday in Green Cove Springs, the County Administration Building. You can find full details on actionnewsjax.com.
It's the best local sports show in Jacksonville. This is Action Sports Jax, powered by Safe Touch Security.
We're going to get through an NFL game for a change, and that one is intercepted by Aaron Lynch, a former 49er. And he is dragged down to the 45.
Hey, more of that in a Jags uniform. The Jags add another veteran defensive end linebacker. Aaron Lynch was drafted by Trent Baalke in San Francisco. Baalke now in the Jags front office, so more depth and veteran presence for the defense, and more of an indicator that the Jacksonville Jaguars are changing their defense. If not in total scheme, definitely they'll run a hybrid 4-3 to 3-4. Doug Marrone even hinted at it in the last couple of weeks. This could be an entire scheme change for the Jags. Todd Wash traditionally runs a 4-3 defense, but the Jags' acquisitions indicate this trend. It fits their personnel. New linebacker Joe Schobert is the man in the middle of the defense. He's comfortable either way.
There's only so many ways you can play cover 3, cover 4, man-to-man. There's only so many gaps you can play. It's just about learning where you're going to line up and the techniques and the communication that would go on. But once you get that stuff down, it's kind of just plug and play.
This is how it could look for the Jaguars on defense in a 3-4. Al Woods, Rodney Gunter, Taven Bryan in the middle. Put Avery Jones in there instead of Al Woods potentially. That's along the front line. Josh Allen, Schobert, Miles Jack, Yannick Ngakoue if he plays, or Caleb on Chase on the new rookie on the back end of that front seven. Pretty versatile group that will excite Jaguars fans. Hey, Jacksonville takes center stage on Saturday. It'll host UFC 249, first live sporting event in the United States since the COVID-19 pandemic. Today on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690, UFC President Dana White explained the decision.
I can't wait to get the hell out of here and get on a plane and go to Jacksonville.
I know a lot of people that are super bummed that they can't actually go witness this fight in person in UFC 249. It's almost like having the best party ever, but no one can be invited to it. Could we see possible fights down the line for the city of Jacksonville? Because they kind of did you a favor possibly with having the fights here, the 3 fight cards coming up.
You got that right. That's absolutely what we're going to do. When the world gets back to normal, we will definitely be back to Jacksonville with a big fight and, get all the people from Jacksonville in the arena. It'll be great.
Dana White was awesome today on Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690. Check out the entire interview, Action Sports Jax on ESPN 690 podcast, right in Austin Lane's wheelhouse. Watch and listen to our show daily from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. on 10 different platforms. Hey, let's continue to celebrate seniors. Today we tip our cap to Taryn Hagens, a cheerleader for the Atlantic Coast High School Stingrays, as well as Gavin Johnson, a catcher from Creekside, who is headed to Daytona State College to play baseball in the fall, and Logan Gonzalez, a multi-sport athlete from Mandarin who excelled in flag football and is headed to JU to play soccer. Keep the senior salutes coming. Send a picture and information to sports@actionnewsjax.com. Hey, one more tip of the cap. The former Jags player Calais Campbell and his wife, they had a baby boy today. Dakari Calais Campbell, 7 pounds, 5 ounces. Got a feeling Calais will be one heck of a dad. Calais texted me, said, hey, the little guy has long limbs. He's going to be a really good athlete. He also said it was the best day of his life. That'll do it for Action Sports Jax. I'm Brett Martineau from the home office.
Mike. Looking at a mild start tomorrow morning, we'll have a partly to at times mostly cloudy sky. A quick shower or storm will be possible about midday into the early and middle part of the afternoon, especially near and south of Interstate 10. Looks pretty widely scattered. Still a warm day tomorrow, but then we go below average for several days in a row.
All right, we'll have the latest on anything that breaks overnight on Action News Jax this morning. It begins at 4:30 on Fox 30 and CBS 47.
Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.